Fagioli's Madness, Part 128. Three scientists, Papaia, Banani, and Ravioli, and their assistant Igor, who all work at NASOL, start showing an interest in creationism. Worried their superiors send them to see a psychologist. Professor Fagioli, a questionable figure determined to get them fired by making them seem insane. But we're in Fagioli's office where Papaia is undergoing a psychological evaluation. Fagioli, well, Professor Papaia, we've reached the end. I just have one last question for you. Tell me, how did you spend your Sunday? Papaia, oh, Sunday, wonderful. I woke up, around 12:30. Fagioli, 12:30, I see. Gritting his teeth slightly, jotting down a sharp note. And then, Papaia. Then I had breakfast, coffee with almond milk and 2 expired marshmallows, but still nice and chewy. Then I thought, time to mow the lawn. Fagioli, at 1 o'clock, I suppose. Papaia, yep. Only thing was the gas can was empty. So I grabbed it and went to the gas station. In my flip-flops. Fagioli, tensing up. In flip-flops? Papaia. Yeah, and with the bag of ketchup-flavored chips, too. Fagioli, tapping his pen sharply on the notebook. You ate chips at the gas station. Papaia. Exactly. And then by accident, I spilled some gasoline on my socks. Fagioli, completely rigid, jaw clenched, staring at Papaia. Right. Fantastic. Igor, Papaia's Sunday, truly productive. Nobel on the way. Sorry, Fagioli. But what kind of question is, what did you do on Sunday? What's it for? To check if Papaia says, I spent the day talking to voices in my head. Are we really at this level of testing? Next thing you know, you'll ask if he folds his socks properly. Ah, perfect. So now we're assessing mental stability based on gas station chip consumption. Excellent method. Part 2, 28th, Fagioli's office. Fagioli. So, you filled the gas can at the station. Papaia. Yes. Fagioli. Material? Papaia. Huh? Fagioli. What material was it? The can. Papaia. Plastic, I think. Fagioli. Brand? Papaia. Huh? Fagioli. Brand. Was there a name written on it? Papaia. I didn't notice. Fagioli. Exact capacity? Papaia. 10? Maybe. Fagioli. Color? Papaia. White or gray, like a can. Fagioli. Cap? Screw on. Bayonet. Press fit. Threaded. Papaia. Embarrassed. It was a cap. You had to screw it off. Fagioli. Retractable spout or separate tube. Papaia. It was a tube? I don't know. Fagioli. Size. UN certified or not? Papaia. Looks around nervously. I don't know. Fagioli. Graduated markings on the side. Papaia. Maybe. I didn't pay attention. Fagioli. Internal gasket, rubber, silicone, or none. Papaia. Professor. I just grabbed it. Fagioli. Smooth or textured surface. Papaia. Textu. What? Fagioli. Textured. Like, with anti-slip grip for sweaty hands? Papaia. I don't remember. Fagioli. Number of ribs on the left side? Papaia. Huh? Fagioli. More intense. Bellows at the neck. Wide or narrow? Did it smell like new plastic or like leftover fuel? Did you hear a click when opening the cap or just a dull thunk? Was the label a sticker or hot stamped? Did you count the cap turns? The turns, Papaia. Papaia. I don't know. Igor. It was textured, like your brain, Fagioli. Only, the can was more useful. Part 3, 28th. Fagioli's office scene. 3. Fagioli. Pause, fixed stare, voice lowers. So we know nothing about the can. Bad, very bad. You mowed the lawn in flip-flops and then left the can empty. Papaia. No. Wait, the can was already empty. Fagioli. Worse. You've desecrated an agricultural act. A green blasphemy, uttered right in the middle of the garden. Igor. Worse. You've written a black page in the history of gardening. Softly. The weed whackers are already judging you. Fagioli takes a deep breath. Fagioli, when I was a child, we didn't touch the soil on a whim. We tilled it with respect, with real hunger. My father, now he knew how to raise a son. Rigid smile. He'd wake us up before sunrise without a word. We'd go down in silence like soldiers. The earth was our teacher, the hoe, our only tool. His voice cracked slightly. Once my brother put sugar in his coffee. He made us kneel on dried chickpeas, all of us, even me, even though I hadn't done anything. So, you'll learn the value of unity, he said. It was right. He was right. Igor, under his breath, sarcastic. Yeah, and they say sugar's only bad for your teeth. Fagioli, turning his glare back to Papaia. And you use a lawnmower, a vulgar lawnmower, whispering with contempt, a slap in the face of agriculture, and an insult to the memory of those who built with their calloused hands. Igor, whispering. And there it is. Now we're officially at war with the farming sector. Watch out, Papaia. Next thing you know, you'll end up on the farmer's blacklist. Part 4, 28th, waiting room, ravioli. Is there any other evidence? Paco, there's the DNA found in ancient bacteria. Ravioli? DNA? You mean organic material? Paco, exactly, and still intact. Banani. And how ancient are these bacteria supposed to be? Paco, pretty ancient. Even the scientists were surprised to find the DNA still intact after a supposed 250 million years. Part 5, 28th, Fagioli's office. Fagioli, his tone grows more solemn, almost religious. The lawnmower is an outrage, a machine that devours without respect. The earth, Papaia, the earth is tilled with a hoe. Hand, heart, and hard work. Tilling isn't just about removing weeds. It's an ancient ritual, a dialogue with the soil, that mechanical buzzing. It's an insult to patience, a wound in tradition. If you want to love the land, you take a hoe, and you work slowly, because every clod tells a story. The lawnmower? It's just haste, distraction, and ignorance. Papaia. Ah, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Fagioli, quiet, firm voice. You didn't know, huh? If my father had seen someone mowing the lawn with that cursed lawnmower, he wouldn't have said a word. He would have grabbed that lawnmower by force and smashed it with the hoe without hesitation. Because the land deserves respect, not to be challenged by noisy machines. And whoever dares to do so deserves neither pity nor words. Igor, under his breath, sarcastic. Fagioli's father. At the bar, they called him Hoe Everything. He'd hoe through TVs, lawnmowers, even textured gas cans. Part 6, 28th, Fagioli's office. Scene 6, Fagioli. Because you can't just start hoeing around at random, you understand? The earth feels. The hoe responds. Igor, yeah, it responds. Buy a tractor and leave me alone. Fagioli stands up, slowly circling around Papaia like a predator. Fagioli, you take a hoe. You look at it. Is it long? Is it short? Does it lean to the right or to the left? Does it go clink when you shake it? Or clunk? And if it rains, does the handle change? Does the soul change, Papaia? Igor, if he keeps this up, soon the hoe will have voting rights too. Papaia blinks. Fagioli stares into space. Fagioli, dreamily, my father, he used to say, son, whoever doesn't know the hoe will never know love. One day I told him, but Dad, I want to study psychology. He cried. Then he buried a television with the hoe. Igor. And what did the TV have to do with psychology? I mean, what was it even doing there? I always thought a guy like Fagioli's dad spent his evenings watching Plant Scrub. Maybe when everyone was asleep, he secretly watched Dynasty. Maybe he caught a couple of episodes and got hooked. Maybe he knew every character and their backstory by heart, and that's why he had it out for the TV. Can you imagine? Or maybe He just buried the neighbor's TV. Part 7, 28ths, Fagioli's office. Pause. Fagioli suddenly turns sharply. Fagioli, intensely. And today, you come here telling me you got up at noon and took a gas can. A can you know nothing about. Pause. Fagioli, and you mowed the lawn with a lawnmower? Papaia, disoriented. I was just trying to clean up the garden. Fagioli, clean up the garden. Ha! Clean up the garden. Tony, clean up the garden. Clean up the garden. Clean up the garden. Clean up the garden. Ah ha! Silence. Fagioli slowly leans in close to Papaia's face. Fagioli whispering, the can spoke to you, Papaia, and you didn't listen. Igor, sarcastically. How did Fagioli know? I'll tell you how. He talks to gas cans. They're his only real friends? Part 828's, waiting room, Banani. If they were really that ancient, we shouldn't find any trace of them. Paco, exactly. Ravioli. And how did they discover this? Paco. In 2000, scientists claimed to have resurrected some bacteria called Lazarus bacteria, found inside a salt crystal conventionally dated at 250 million years. Banani. Resurrected? How did they do that? Paco. It's complicated, but the striking thing is that they were shocked to find that the DNA of these bacteria was very similar to that of modern bacteria. Banani. And why? Shouldn't it be? Paco. If today's bacteria were the result of 250 million years of evolution, their DNA should be very different from that of the Lazarus bacteria, based on known mutation rates. Part 9, 28. Flashback interior, night Fagioli's father's house, Igor's imagination. Fagioli's father, getting up from the table, inspecting each plate one by one. Let's see. Empty. 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 Stops in front of the eldest brother's plate. What's this? Fagioli's older brother, whispering, terrified. A broccoli. Fagioli's father, ice-cold tone. A broccoli. Nods towards the mother. Fagioli's mother, serious. Food is not to be wasted. Fagioli's father, everyone on their knees, on the chickpeas. Young Fagioli, choked voice. But I ate all of mine. Fagioli's father, raising the pool cue like a ceremonial staff. Family unity. The brothers, all together kneeling with desperate looks. Yes, unity. 30 minutes later. Fagioli's father, impassive, hands forward. Brother 1, oh no, now come the strikes. Brother 2, no, with the pool cue. Brother 3, this is the worst part. Fagioli's father, striking Fagioli's hands with the cue. 1, thwack. 2, thwack. 3, thwack. Fagioli, reading the writing on the cue. Brunswick, Elite, 53. Fagioli's father, yelling like a drill sergeant. Lights out, dead silence. Part 10, 28, flashback. Fagioli's father's house night. Igor's imagination. Continuation. All the children rush into their beds. The mother clears the table and silently cleans the kitchen. Then, looking exhausted, she crawls under the covers. Fagioli's father, looking around. Ah, finally. He goes into the living room. There's a pool table. Fagioli's father. There you are, my cue. He arranges the balls on the table with surgical precision. Plays alone, calculating every angle, every rebound. Not a single missed shot. Fagioli's father. Precision and study. That's everything. He keeps playing. Sinks a ball into the pocket. Fagioli's father. In life, there's no room for mistakes. Another shot. He sinks the last ball. Fagioli's father. That's enough for today. He sets down the cue. Fagioli's father. Ah, I'm so good. Dad would be proud of me. He moves toward the couch, sits down, checks the clock, turns on the TV. Dynasty theme song plays. For a second, the father freezes, then his expression changes. The hard stare melts into a mix of interest and emotional involvement. His eyes light up. He follows the episode with manic attention. Fagioli's father, muttering to himself. There, Alexis with her schemes again. I knew it. Scoffs. And Blake? Still the same naive fool. And her, she still deludes herself. Shakes his head, sighs like a life expert. The episode ends. The father stands up, turns off the TV, walks to the storage room, opens it, takes out the hoe, gently strokes it, then carefully puts it back, like performing a ritual. Fagioli's father, muttering gravely before going to bed. The earth never betrays. He gives the house one last look, total silence, then retreats to his room, closing the door with a sharp click. End of Igor's imagined flashback. Part 11/28, Fagioli's office, Papaia. But excuse me, Fagioli. If you love hoeing the earth so much, why didn't you become a farmer? Fagioli, because... Igor, interrupting sarcastic. Because psychologists get more vacation time. Fagioli stiffens. His gaze drifts into space. Then he speaks in a rough, different voice. It's his father's voice. Fagioli as his father. A man who leaves the land to tend to chatter is not a man. He's weak, one who flees from duty. In my house we hoe, we eat what we grow, and we keep quiet. Those who dream, who analyze, hoe less. A psychiatrist. What a shame. Papaia, eyes wide open, looks around, then at Fagioli. Hey, but Fagioli, are you okay? Fagioli, in a different, younger, more fragile voice. Dad, I just wanted to follow my dream. To help people, you know? Fagioli, father. Hard, sharp voice. Dream? Those who dream are lazy. Your place is here, hoeing the earth, working with the hoe, not with empty words. Fagioli, himself. But those aren't empty words, Dad. The mind needs care, just like the body. Fagioli, father. Enough. Anyone who leaves the hoe for the head is a traitor. No one in my family is ashamed of the hoe. Papaia watches the dialogue wide-eyed and mouth open. Fagioli, whispering, lowering his gaze. All right, Dad. Fagioli, father. And now, immediately, punishment. You know well what you must do. Fagioli, yes. Kneeling on chickpeas. Fagioli pulls a handful of dried chickpeas from his pocket and throws them on the floor. Then he kneels on them. Fagioli, sorry, Dad, sorry, I won't do it again. He stays like that for a few seconds in front of Papaia's incredulous eyes. Then he gets up, picks up the chickpeas, puts them back in his pocket. A moment of silence. The atmosphere lightens. Fagioli catches his breath. His voice returns to normal. Papaia, softly. But was he talking to himself? Fagioli, as if waking from a dream. Me? Look, it was you who were imitating your father. Papaia, me? Fagioli, yes, don't you remember? Papaia, but it was you. Fagioli. Interesting. Seems like an unusual form of transference. Part 12/28's waiting room, Paco. Not to mention that they found DNA still intact after the supposed 250 million years. Banani. As far as I know, DNA degrades quickly, even under ideal conditions. Paco. Yes, that's true, and even evolutionists agree that DNA in bacterial spores, a dormant state, shouldn't last more than 1 million years. Ravioli. I'd say their dilemma is pretty serious. Part 13/28's Fagioli's office. Fagioli looks into the void again. Then his face shifts to a frightened expression, as if he's seen a ghost. Still holding that same fixed and unsettling expression, he pulls out Tony the sock. Tony. Shrill, mocking voice. So, Papaia. Just a couple of questions. When you feel lonely, do you hug a pillow or start singing in Chinese? Papaia. Looking confused. Excuse me, am I supposed to answer to the sock? Tony, offended. What sock? I'm Tony, your psychologist. My question is clinical. Please answer. Igor. Yeah, check it out. Tony's even registered in the sock registry. Papaia looks at Fagioli, who stays motionless, frozen in a mix of astonishment and terror. Papaya. I think maybe I hug the pillow. Tony. Very good. And when you dream, do you often dream of giant broccoli or airport chases? Papaya. Shaken, unsure whether to laugh or worry. Well, actually, I usually dream, I don't know, normal stuff, like when I was a kid. Igor. No, Tony, now you're mixing him up with ravioli. Tony. When he was a kid. Good, good. And tell me, what will you do after we get you fired? Papaya. I honestly don't know. I thought I'd keep my job. Igor. Fake alarm. Keep your job? Tony, call the stretcher bearers. He's nuts. Pauses softer. Oh, and speaking of crazy, bring a hoe too, so Fagioli can calm down. Tony. Nope, that's not an option. Part 14, 28. Fagioli's office. Papaya. What? Fagioli told me he wants to fire me. I mean, help me. Igor. Papaya, you got it all wrong. I mean, never mind. Tony. I have to tell you a secret. Papaya. What secret? Tony. Pointing at Fagioli. Give him a slap. Papaya. Who? Fagioli? Igor. Whispering amused. Oh, finally some sensible advice. Too bad it came from a sock. Tony. Yeah, it's a test. It's important. A slap, but not a hard one. Papaya. Are you sure? Igor. Actually, the question wasn't whether to slap him or not. Banani. Oh no. Then what was it about? Igor, about doing it gently. Papaya was already ready to give a strong one. A really strong one. Tony, come on. What are you waiting for? There's no time. Papaya. Okay, whatever you say. Papaya slaps Fagioli lightly, but he remains motionless, eyes lost in the void like a statue. Part 15, 28. Fagioli's office. Tony, whispering, looking around. Good, now we can talk. He can't hear us. Papaya, perplexed. Who? Him? Tony, Fagioli, he's asleep. Sometimes it happens. He falls asleep and I can talk. Igor, don't be scared, Papaya. It happens to Ravioli too. When he eats too much, he falls asleep and his pizza starts talking from his stomach. Papaya, somewhere between worried and curious. Ah, I see. In that case, nice to meet you. Tony. Tony, the pleasure is mine. Listen carefully because we don't have much time. Fagioli could wake up at any moment. Papaya. Okay, I'm listening. Go ahead. Tony. Fagioli is not your friend. In fact, he hates you and wants to get you all fired. Papaya. Eyes wide open. What? Igor, smiling. Seriously? I thought he was Santa Claus, but with a hoe instead of a sleigh. Tony. See those cameras back there? Papaya. Yes, I saw them. Fagioli says they're to record the session. Tony. Ha 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 ha. Poor fool. You understood nothing. The Papaya. What should I understand? Tony. Fagioli is just trying to get you to talk about your problems, so he can edit the video and make you look crazy. Papaya. And how would he do that? Tony. Come on, what world do you live in? Never heard of video editing artificial intelligence? Papaya. You're telling me Fagioli wants to manipulate our words against us, sending a doctored video to our bosses? Tony. Exactly. Didn't you notice his slips of the tongue? Papaya. Muttering. Ah, that's why. But I was opening up to him. Tony. Mistake. Don't trust him. He doesn't listen. He studies you. He pretends. He lies. But I'm telling you the truth. Be careful. Papaya. Muttering almost to himself. Maybe I messed up everything. Igor. Fake shocked. Papaya making a mistake never happened. Part 16, 28. Fagioli's office. Waiting room. Banani. Yes, but if the Earth is only 6,000 years old, this doesn't surprise us at all. Paco. Exactly. The discovery of the Lazarus bacteria isn't shocking or surprising at all if we base our expectations on the Bible's accounts. Ravioli. For example, Noah's flood probably deposited the salt beds that hosted the bacteria. And Banani. And if the Lazarus bacteria are only about 4,500 years old, the approximate time since the global flood, it's much more likely that their DNA is still intact and similar to that of modern bacteria. Part 1728. Fagioli's office. Tony. Shh. Don't say anything more. He's waking up. Bye. Papaya. Bye, Tony. Silence for a moment. Then Fagioli snaps out of his trance and puts Tony away with an automatic gesture. Fagioli, detached as if nothing happened. Where were we, Papaya? Papaya looks at him confused, halfway between suspicion and panic. I think we were talking about the lawnmower? Fagioli. Ah, yes, tell me, Papaya, how does this thing work? The lawnmower, how do you adjust it? How long does the gas last? Do you have any idea what maintenance it needs? Papaya, uncertain. No, actually, I wouldn't know. I just pushed some levers and hoped. Fagioli sighs. Exactly. The hoe never betrays you. My hoe is made of forged iron, olive wood handle, an extension of my arm. Papaya looks at him, a bit admiring. Wow, you really know your hoe. Fagioli, proudly. More than a tool, it's a tradition. It tells you about the earth, makes you feel life. Igor, sure, soon he'll write a biography too. Me and my hoe, a love story. Fagioli, ominously calm. Do you want to see it? The hoe? Papaya. What? You have a hoe? Here? Igor, wrong answer. The right one was, no thanks. Fagioli slowly bends under the desk. Sounds of objects moving, a metallic noise. Fagioli, standing up. Here it is. Life companion. Queen of silence. He lifts a rusty hoe with a chipped handle and places it on the desk, right in front of Papaya. Fagioli, quietly. I use it to think, to remember, and to bring order. Then, without warning, he raises the hoe and slams it hard on the floor, just inches from Papaya's foot. Clang. Fagioli, with a crooked smile. Don't worry. It hit the wrong tile. Igor, raising an eyebrow. Wrong. What do you mean? Pause, softer. Was there a right one? Papaya stiffens. Fagioli leans sideways, pressing the hoe handle between the floor tiles. Part 1828. Fagioli's office. Fagioli. Some people forget things. The details. The objects. Then one day they even forget themselves. He strikes the floor again. Tonk. Fagioli, smiling without joy. But not me. I remember everything. Igor, with fake cheerfulness. Ah, good. So tomorrow you won't forget to call the tiler. He approaches hoe over his shoulder like a rifle. Fagioli, in a low voice. And if one day someone in here forgets who the psychologist is, who keeps things in order, who has the hoe? Igor, with innocent but sharp tone. Tell me, Fagioli, this thing about the hoe on the tiles, do you do it often? Pause, looking at the floor. Just so I know if I should bring safety shoes next time? He lowers the hoe again, slowly, until it touched Papaya's knee. Fagioli, whispering. Well, let's say, I'd hate to have to till something that walks. Tense silence. Fagioli suddenly straightens up. Igor, whispering sarcastic. Relax, Papaya. At worst, you end up among the experimental crops. Maybe next time you bring a shovel instead. So they bury you right away. Yeah, because with Fagioli, you either heal quickly or never heal at all. And judging by how it's going, the never becomes permanent. Basically, Fagioli applies farming to psychology. Either the patient bears fruit, or, with his hoe, he treats them like weeds. Part 1928. Int. Fagioli's office shortly after. Fagioli's serious again. Papaya still sits, visibly tense. Fagioli slowly opens a drawer. Fagioli, solemnly. You were telling me you ate junk food on Sunday? Papaya. Well, if you want to call it that. Fagioli. Do you know what the real problem is, Papaya? Nutrition. Papaya looks puzzled. Fagioli. People eat poison. Sugars, fried food, hydrogenated sauces. But not me. I eat as my father taught me. Dramatic pause. He opens the drawer fully. Pulls out a transparent container with a shapeless gray-green mass. Igor, ironically. Ah, sure, the family tradition delicacy. Fagioli's famous ho pesto. Fagioli with teary eyes, boiled fish. With broccoli, no salt, no joy. Papaia swallows dryly, fagioli with growing fervor, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. From age 3 to 17. My father put it on my plate. He stared at me and said, "Chew, son, chew and become a man." Igor. Faked out. But are we sure it was fish? Because, whatever it was, it worked. In a strange way, 50 years later. Serious tone, counting on fingers. I mean, the hoe in the office. The sock. The father's voice bouncing in his head. Pause, looking at Papaia. I'd say the fish left some side effects. Basically, Fagioli's childhood was less like a picnic in the garden and more like an afternoon at Woodstock. Just without the music and with more broccoli. Part 20, 28. Waiting room. Ravioli. But what do evolutionists say? Paco. Some have rejected the discovery and believe that the Lazarus bacteria are the result of contamination by modern bacteria. Banani. Is that possible? Paco. Yes. However, the scientists who discovered the bacteria defend the strict procedures they followed to avoid contamination. Ravioli. So the scientists who made the discovery followed all the procedures to avoid contamination? Paco. Yes, according to their statements. And these are evolutionist scientists. Oh. Part 21, 28. Fagioli's office. Fagioli opens the container. A sharp vapor spreads through the room. Papaia coughs. Fagioli, offended. It's pure. Igor, sarcastic, waving his hand in front of his nose. Yeah, pure, like a chemical attack. He takes a fork, plunges it into the fish, scoops up a soggy mush, and lifts it in the air like a trophy. Fagioli. The broccoli is flavorful. The boiled cod is good. Then he stops, looks at Papaia. Fagioli, serious. Taste it. Papaia, sweating. No, look, I've already had lunch, Fagioli, raising his voice. Taste it. It's a nutritional order. He hands the fork to Papaia, trembling. Papaia takes the bite, reluctant. He chews slowly while Fagioli watches proudly. Fagioli moved. You feel it, right? The past. Discipline. Submission to the fibers. Papaia, weakly. Tastes a bit like wall. Fagioli, happy. Perfect, it melts in your mouth. That means it's cooked. Igor, what? The fish or your neurons? Interior Fagioli's office. Moments later, Fagioli stands up, approaches a shelf. He takes a slightly yellowed black and white photo. Fagioli, looking at it with mystical respect. See this? This is my father. He hands the photo to Papaia. It shows a very stern man. Bayonet-like mustaches, gaze that pierces the paper. Banani. Fake surprise. Strange, from how Fagioli talked about him, he seemed like such a friendly guy. Igor, yeah, friendly like a billiard cue to the hand. Part 22, 28, Fagioli's office. Fagioli, voice breaking. You know what my father used to do, Papaia? He raised me with old school methods. When I messed up, he made me kneel. On chickpeas. Dry ones. He puts his hand in his pocket, pulls out some dry chickpeas and throws them on the floor between him and Papaia. Plop, plop, plop. Fagioli, deep voice. See, Papaia, your problem is you need discipline. Papaia, what do you mean? Fagioli, raising his voice. Kneel on the chickpeas, right now. Papaia, alarmed. Me? Igor, deadpan irony. Papaia kneeling on chickpeas? Wasn't there an app to avoid this stuff? Fagioli, or maybe do you want to see some more of the hoe? Papaia, no, no. Fagioli, whispering, kneel down. Papaia, terrified, kneels on the chickpeas. He emits a faint groan. Papaia, ouch, it hurts. Fagioli, it must hurt. That's good for discipline. Igor, mocking tone. Yeah, and maybe one day you'll thank him when you still remember where your knees are. Fagioli circles around Papaya and stops behind him. Fagioli. See, Papaya, to me you're like a son. Papaya in pain. Really? Igor. Surprised tone. Like a son. So should we expect a Christmas call, asking for money? Fagioli. Really, this is for your own good. One day you'll thank me. Papaya. One day, maybe, but not today. Igor. For your own good. Haha, I told you. While Papaya stays kneeling in pain on the chickpeas, Fagioli pulls out the hoe and stands behind Papaya, unseen. Fagioli. Good boy. Chickpeas and discipline. Igor. Papaya. If you want, I can send you the recipe later, so at least you eat them. Relax, Papaya. Look on the bright side. At least they're not thumbtacks. Well, he wanted to cut the grass. Now he's fertilizing with pain. I bet next medical checkup, they'll find chickpea prints on your kneecaps. Can't there be like a soft version with frozen peas? Papaya came for a psychological evaluation, but ended up doing a faker internship. Part 23, 28. Fagioli's office. Fagioli raises the hoe. He lowers it slowly, almost grazing the back of Papaya's neck, who looks unknowingly toward the wall. Then suddenly, he raises the hoe again, determined to strike. Fagioli, father's voice. Good boy, just like in the old days. Fagioli, Tony's voice. Stop, what are you doing? You promised me you wouldn't do it again. Igor with fake enthusiasm. Fagioli, now that's an original way to file a patient. Straight to the organic fertilizer department. Then he stops, he rethinks it, and puts the hoe away. Suddenly, he comes back to himself. He looks around amazed, as if he'd forgotten everything. Igor, ironically. No, it's all a misunderstanding. Fagioli was just trying to prune his thoughts. Actually, the blow to the head was just a new procedure. Remove the brain, remove the problems. But that changed his mind. Why? Obviously, Papaya, you never had a brain anyway. At that point, he just wanted to know what's in your head. Pause with a smirk. Spoiler, nothing interesting. Fagioli, confused. But what are you doing? Papaya looks up, incredulous. He stays kneeling, silent. Fagioli, studying him. Kneeling? On legumes? Interesting. He pulls out a notebook and takes notes. Looks at him with fake affection. Fagioli, don't worry, Mr. Papaya. We're here to fire you. I meant help you. Igor. He meant hoe you better, Papaya. Part 24, 28. In waiting room, ravioli. So how do they explain it? Paco. They claim the ancient age is valid if the bacteria had longer generation times, different mutation rates, and or selective pressures similar to modern bacteria. Naturally, these rescue devices are just conjectures to make the data fit their worldview. Banani. Are you saying that to avoid questioning the 250 million year dating, they hypothesize special and hard to verify scenarios? Paco. Yes. For example, they hypothesized that bacteria reproduce much more slowly compared to modern bacteria, so they would have accumulated fewer mutations over time. Ravioli. So their DNA would have changed much more slowly than that of today's bacteria? Paco. Yes, or the environmental conditions would have pushed both types of bacteria to remain genetically very similar despite the time passed. Ravioli. Have they found any evidence to verify this hypothesis? Paco. No. These are just assumptions. Part 2528, Fagioli's office. Fagioli rubs his hands together. Fagioli. Well. Fagioli. Miss Papaya. You've told me many things today. I could already have you fired with this material. I could already speak in your favor to the higher-ups. But I need the cherry on top to be sure you lose your job. To make sure everything works out for you. Papaya. Cherry on top? Fagioli. Well, actually, it's the main reason you're here with me today. Fagioli pauses for what feels like an eternity. Igor. Sarcastically to Fagioli. Fagioli, please. Enough with this cherry on top thing. Why don't you invent an analogy more? Yours. Like, I don't know. The final hose strike. Or the career shovel blow. Pause. Because the concept's the same. Papaia, tell me. Fagioli, let's talk about your interest in creationism. Papaia, no, I have no interest in creationism. Fagioli, really? And what about that note in your report? What does it mean when you say the Big Bang model should be reconsidered? Papaia, I don't know. If the numbers don't add up, maybe the Big Bang isn't the right explanation. Part 26, 28's Fagioli's office. Fagioli. And what do you say about this email which arrived to one of your colleagues? Papaia turns pale. Fagioli swivels the monitor to show him an email. Papaia reads, Subject, Urgent Reflections on the Hubble Constant. Dear colleagues, I have reviewed the latest data on the Hubble tension, and I must admit there is something that doesn't add up. The models don't match. The predictions diverge. After long analyses, I believe I have something important in my hands, perhaps inconvenient. The evidence I am gathering clearly indicates that the universe was created by an intelligent force, just as described in the book of Genesis. Yes, I'm talking about the God of the Bible. Soon I will be ready to share the details. Respectfully, Wayne, Prof. Papaia, wide-eyed. But how did he get that email? It was private. Fagioli, smile please. Papaia, the juiciest truths never come alone. Nasal hired an outside consultant to investigate certain anomalies in your scientific reports. Papaia, a consultant? Fagioli, a detective to be exact. He worked undercover, gained your trust, asked you about your experiments, your theories. Papaia, confused. Wait, you're not talking about Talponi? Fagioli, nodding slowly. That's the one. Papaia, horrified. But Talponi is... I thought he was my friend. During coffee breaks, Igor, with the ironic tone, spreading his arms. The guy's name was Talponi. I mean, just from the name, you should have asked yourself some questions, right? Fagioli. Talponi did a great job. He transmitted every message, every weird speech, every eccentric theory. And this email was the cherry on top. The one that nails you. Papaia, shaken. I can't believe it. It was all a trick? Igor, with fake sorrow. Yes, all a trick, Papaia. Even that time he told you he didn't have change for coffee. Oh yes, because his pockets were full of microphones. Part 2728. Fagioli's office. Fagioli, approaching the desk slowly, steepling his fingers. You see, Mr. Papaia, at NASAL, we're not interested in scientists who think outside the box. We want people who follow orders, who stick to procedures, who don't question the scaffolding on which our respectability stands. Igor, scaffolding, which one? The one made of funding? Papaia, with a sad tone. I understand. Fagioli, firmly. That means no more Bible God at work, no more alternative theories. Papaia, lowering his gaze. All right, I promise I won't do it again. I'll follow the rules, I'll stay within the lines. Fagioli, very well, then you may go. Papaia, standing up uncertain. But what about the evaluation? The final test result? Fagioli, without looking up, flipping through some papers. We will let you know. Tony, yeah, maybe in a dream. If you dream really bad, ha ha ha. Papaia leaves the room. Part 28/28. Waiting room, Igor. What did Fagioli write in his notes? We'll never know. But we do have public reviews on TripAdvisor. Threats with a hoe included rustic atmosphere. The bully sock judged me the whole time. Kneeling on chickpeas? Never again. But at least I learned the value of discipline. Sometimes there's a slip-up, like when they tell you your sanity is gone, but it's not true. Watch out for video editing. You could look crazy without even trying. They send the DVD to you and your neighbors. But we also have satisfied patients. Incredible experience. We went to hoe the nasal garden. Then, without warning, he made me kneel on chickpeas. Fantastic. The best part? When he turned into the father, Emotional, unsettling, authentic. Recommended for those who want strong emotions and who don't care much about their kneecaps. I'll definitely come back. Maybe next time I'll bring my friends. I would if I had any. Experience. Horrible. No. Fantastic. When I arrived, I thought, why did I do this? Then I realized it was exactly what I didn't need. I did need it, yes. Fagioli is a monster of skill, or maybe just a monster with a hoe, with a degree. If you don't improve, he threatens you with the hoe. No. He encourages you with therapy. Sometimes he makes you kneel on chickpeas. Compared to your problems. He just wasted my time. Helped me lose my complexes. He has a talking sock. Ridiculous. Brilliant. He has more problems than me. No, wait. More knowledge. I came out worse than when I went in. Better. Who knows? Anyway, if you want to ruin yourself, heal. Come here. Highly recommended. Or maybe not. Your call.